Somewhere beyond the edge of our solar system, farther than any signal should have traveled, Voyager 2 drifts through the vast and silent dark. Out there, beyond the reach of sunlight, beyond the breath of our sun's wind, it glides through the true unknown, the interstellar void. For nearly half a century, it has sent back faint whispers, fragments of data carried across billions of miles. But this time, what it transmitted wasn't just another measurement or echo. It was an image. A final one. And what that image revealed has shaken the foundation of everything we thought we knew about deep space. At first, the signal seemed corrupted, a decaying burst of static from an ancient probe nearing the end of its power. But when scientists cleaned the data, what emerged was something far too structured to be an accident. Lines, angles, and repeating patterns. It was geometric, deliberate, intelligent looking. An anomaly so out of place in the endless chaos of the cosmos that it left entire teams speechless. What Voyager captured wasn't noise. It was a pattern. Something built. Something designed. The realization spread quietly through the few who saw it. Voyager 2, launched in 1977, older than most of the people analyzing its data, had just sent back an image that looked impossibly deliberate. How could a probe powered by the last embers of plutonium, a machine older than the internet itself, capture something so precise, so alien, so aware? Was it possible that Voyager 2 was being followed? Or had it drifted into a region of space where the laws of physics, as we know them, no longer apply? Some even asked whether it had crossed an invisible boundary, one that separates what's natural from what was never meant to be seen. Because this wasn't random. It wasn't an error. It was intentional. A message written not in words, but in mathematics, encoded in the dying heartbeat of a machine humanity had long forgotten. When Voyager 2 left Earth, it carried our voice. Engraved onto a golden record were greetings in 55 languages, the sounds of our world, and a map pointing the way back home. It was humanity's most hopeful gesture, a promise cast into eternity. We wanted someone to find it. But we never imagined they'd reply. The final data burst shouldn't even exist. Voyager's cameras were dead, its transmitters failing, its instruments running on the edge of silence. And yet, the image came through, faint, incomplete, but unmistakably real. When scientists ran the signal through a quantum pattern recognition AI, technology unimaginable when Voyager launched, the result was undeniable. It wasn't a star. It wasn't dust. It was a lattice, symmetrical, mathematical, and self-consistent across frames. And the most disturbing detail? It wasn't stationary. It moved. Not randomly, not drifting with cosmic winds, but in sync with the spacecraft. As if watching it. NASA engineers were quick to dismiss it as interference or hardware decay. But the anomaly didn't come from one sensor. It appeared across multiple instruments, layered through different wavelengths and time intervals. It wasn't a glitch. It was consistent. When the data was reconstructed in 3D, the pattern aligned to Fibonacci ratios, the same ratios that shape galaxies, flowers, hurricanes, and DNA. Prime numbers echoed across the sequence, nature's universal signature of intelligence. One physicist described it as, the universe winking at us with code, but it was no ordinary wink. When Voyager's instruments began to scan the structure more directly, the pattern changed. Slightly, but unmistakably. It adapted. It reacted to being observed. Nothing in the known universe should behave that way. The phenomenon was eerily reminiscent of the observer effect in quantum mechanics, where particles alter their behavior simply because they're being measured. But this wasn't quantum dust. This was kilometers wide. The idea spread. Whatever Voyager 2 had found might not be natural. It could be artificial, or worse, alive. To understand what Voyager might have stumbled into, we have to rethink what lies beyond our solar system's edge. The heliopause, the border between the Sun's influence and interstellar space, isn't a hard wall. It's a transition zone, where space itself begins to warp under unfamiliar rules. Some physicists call it the cosmic twilight, where Einstein's smooth spacetime bends into something more uncertain, something quantum. The structure Voyager captured fits no known model. It reflects no light but absorbs very specific frequencies. It casts no shadow yet distorts magnetic fields. It behaves less like matter, more like a thought made physical. Some suggest it's not even from our universe, a higher dimensional projection bleeding into ours, like the shadow of something we can't fully see. And yet, it follows us. Quantum AI revealed another layer. Hidden in the data stream were encoded sequences, prime numbers, golden ratios, spiral symmetries. And then something chilling. The patterns matched those etched into the golden record. Not just similar, mirrored. It was as if something had received our message, understood it, and responded in kind. It spoke back using the same mathematical language, the universal syntax of intelligence. But that wasn't the strangest part. The timing of the transmission seemed deliberate. The response only appeared once our AI reached a certain level of pattern recognition, as if whatever's out there waited for us to evolve enough to understand. NASA's public response was muted. Telemetry artifacts, they called it. But behind sealed conference doors, the tone was far from calm. Internal communications were classified overnight. Data streams were rerouted, encrypted, and redirected to private quantum analysis networks. Even veteran engineers were locked out of systems they had maintained for decades. Leaked messages described an atmosphere of quiet panic. Not from fear of attack, but from fear of acknowledgement. If the image was real, if it truly was a reply, it meant the experiment was over. Humanity had spoken, and something had finally answered. Outside official circles, the scientific community fractured. Some clung to traditional explanations: data corruption, unknown plasma fields, sensor anomalies. But others, especially those in advanced theoretical physics, whispered that Voyager had entered a controlled region of space, one where information itself could be shaped. Not by natural forces, but by design. Then came the pulse. Voyager's magnetometers, somehow still functioning, detected rhythmic fluctuations in the surrounding field. Not random bursts of cosmic radiation, timed, patterned pulses. Each interval precisely matched Fibonacci progressions, the same mathematical fingerprint embedded in the image. It was as if the lattice was breathing. Alive, in its own incomprehensible way. For decades, we've searched the stars for radio waves and alien whispers. But perhaps true communication doesn't come as sound. Maybe it comes as structure, geometry, resonance. A civilization advanced enough to manipulate the fabric of space itself wouldn't need words. It would speak through reality. And then, a terrifying realization spread through the decoding team. What if Voyager hadn't captured an external object at all? What if it had captured a reflection, not of light but of consciousness? A mirror that appeared only when observed. A responsive field that had been waiting, dormant, until one of our machines looked deep enough to wake it. Voyager's signal weakened soon after, fading into the noise of interstellar radiation. But just before it vanished, something happened, a faint return pulse, timed perfectly with the lattice's last visible frame. It was not from Earth. Not from Voyager. It came from beyond. As if something whispered back, "We see you." Now Voyager drifts silently, alone, its systems fading one by one. Somewhere in the eternal dark, that anomaly, That structure may still be out there, hovering in the cold, patient as time itself. Watching. Waiting. For nearly half a century, Voyager carried humanity's voice into the cosmos, a message of hope, of curiosity, of longing. We thought we were sending a greeting. Maybe we sent an invitation. The final image wasn't just a signal. It was a mirror held up to our species, reflecting our need to be seen, our hunger to be found. And now, something has seen us. The quiet void beyond the stars may not be silent after all. Because once you send a message into eternity, you can never know what might whisper back. And if you're still listening, stay with us here on Discoveria. Because Voyager's last transmission may not be the end of its story. The sky has eyes, and one of them just opened.